She spent the sound of bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on a seat and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 80 of Fired Up. My name's Mike Giletto. Joining me as always. Hopefully we'll get the tech thing figured out. Dom's having a real rough couple of weeks. Dom Console, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Wish we had a whole nother, good things to talk about. It's going to be a rough show, at least to start maybe. But we also have Chris Lucia. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Yeah,
Been better.
been better. We were hoping we'd come in and have a World Series parade to talk about, but that didn't happen thanks to a variety of different people that I can blame, and I'm sure we'll get to that later. But first, have to tell you about our sponsor. Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and this holiday season, I'll be giving thanks to our friends over at Manscaped. Everyone loves turkey and stuffing, but you'll be looking like the dessert with the help of the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have blessed you with the ultimate Thanksgiving dinner topic. Tell your in-laws about your new cutting-edge ball trimmer and gift yourself or the man in your life the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Trim your pumpkins by going to manscaped.com and using the code FIREDUP for free shipping and 20% off. Think your holiday spread is good? It's time to give thanks to Manscaped Performance Package 4.0, or as I like to call it, the perfect package for your package. Inside, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. Think of it as a cornucopia for your balls. Their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It also gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight on and off for a more precise shave. Plus, is waterproof. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and ear. This nose and ear hair trimmer uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system to provide proprietary skin-safe technology, which help prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Can't forget the Manscaped's liquid formulations. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant and Crop Reviver toner spray are like the pumpkin pie and ice cream after Thanksgiving dinner. Can't live without it. Your balls will be living in turkey heaven with these formulations. As if this wasn't enough, it's time to do the dishes with Manscaped shower products. Lather some of Manscaped's refined body wash on their brand new signature body buffer, and give yourself the lather and rinse your body deserves. Lose the loofah and exfoliate your mates. No hygiene routine is complete without Manscaped's signature deodorant as well. A couple swipes of this and you'll be feeling oh so crisp. Gifting Manscaped is the ultimate hack to becoming the family favorite. So get 20% off and free shipping with code FIREDUP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the code FIREDUP. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. All right, so something that we've been doing over the last handful of shows is top 5 lists. And Dom came up with a good one. So how are we wording this? Top 5 people you'd want to have like a dinner with, like a sit-down dinner with? Basically, people you want to meet, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, dead or alive, obviously. This was a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's because there's so many people have lived on the face of this earth. Like there's a lot of people to choose from. So
I mean, I do have some honorable mentions on here, but I think that we should kind of start going away from that, simply because like we might as well just make a top 10 then. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
true. Yeah.
So
true. I didn't have any honorable mentions. I thought about it and I was like, no, I'm not.
There are a few. It's really hard not to put them on there. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't know who wants to go first.
One of you guys can go first. That's fine.
I'll go first.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
All right. Do you want an explanation afterwards, or just
sure? Why not?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I want like a 200-word essay
on
each,
okay.
and then post it on firedupsports.com.
Right.
Again, like I was struggling with this too, probably like you guys were.
Yeah.
So like number 5, I got Oprah for me.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
All right,
Oprah would be a cool person to meet. Self-made person, came up through the struggle, worked her way all the way to the top. She's a billionaire, I think, right?
I'd be surprised if she wasn't. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if she was close to being a trillionaire.
Yeah, so I think she'd be really cool to me because she's more of like a humble person. I was thinking like when I broke these out, I was like, all right, I need like an entrepreneur, I need like a sports figure, I need like a musical person, I need a president. Like that's kind of what I was thinking in mind.
Okay.
Um,
I like that.
so I could have went.
I'm similar in that. Yeah, I agree.
I could have went
I did
Bezos
not. I
or
did not go
John.
that route.
No,
But go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I could have went Bezos or Jobs, but I feel like Oprah is more of like a humble person, where like you would, you'd get more of a like a better taste of a human being coming from her.
Right, and it's not Jeff Bezos where I'm waiting fucking 2 weeks for my shit that I pay for Prime.
Well, you know what? Maybe if I sat down with him, he'd bring the wire.
There you go.
Right, he bring this mic plug that we've been waiting 3 weeks for.
Number 4, I'm going to go with Jackie Robinson.
Okay,
I like
just
that one.
think that
solid.
would be
Yeah,
a cool conversation to have with somebody who broke the color barrier in, a time as America was changing. Number 3, I'm going to go with Franklin Delano Roosevelt, my personal favorite president of all time. Again, during the Depression, he created a lot of good programs for the country, helped us get out of that recession, and ultimately, a lot of the things that he set up are still around today. Number 2, I'm going John Lennon. John Lennon is not my favorite Beatle. Paul McCartney is. But I think John Lennon had like a cool, thought process on life. I think it would be cool to get his take. And then I didn't know what to go for number 1. So I'm going to go with somebody that I've had plenty of dinners with, but I'd like one more dinner with would be my grandfather. So just
okay.
that's kind of where my mind went on that because we always had great conversations, but I would like that one more dinner with him. So that's my top five.
Dude, you know what? That's a round of applause.
Yeah, absolutely. Your list shits on mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so my 5, number 5. There's really no like great order here. Like it could be anyway. 1 through 5 could be in any sort of order. But number 5, Robin Williams, just a true generation, like just an absolute icon. I don't even think I really need to explain anything. Number 4, this is kind of out of left field. Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he's just got such a fascinating mind, like the way he thinks things. It would just be my mind would probably be doing like circles and while he's going off, but he's fascinating to me. Number 3, Chris mentioned him, Steve Jobs. One of the best. What do you call him? Entrepreneur, businessman of like ever. And number 2 and 1 are kind of more personal. Obviously, I'm not a relative. I didn't go the sappy route. But number 2, Doc Emmerich, legendary broadcast announcer. Like he's my white whale. If we could get him on the show, I don't know what I'd do. But he's legendary. And the number 1 is somebody that we did a top 5 list about weeks ago. Just Eminem. I mean, just incredible talent. Somebody I've kind of grown up listening to. So those are my top 5.
Cool. Okay, so like I said, I have a couple honorable mentions. This was really, really, really tough. Real quick, my 3 honorable mentions: Paul Rudd, Denzel Washington, and Rob Reiner.
Who's that?
Rob Reiner. You never heard of Rob Reiner? He's one of the greatest. So I love rom-com. He's one of the greatest rom-com writers, producers, directors ever.
Okay.
My
one, not to cut you off, my one honorable mention was Seth MacFarlane because I think we'd like just be the best of friends.
Okay. Yeah. No. Dude, I like Paul Rudd is like one of my top favorite celebrities ever.
Yeah.
People ever.
Yep.
Okay. So my top 5. Number 5, I also have Robin Williams.
Okay.
Like you said, there's really nothing to, it's self-explanatory.
Yep.
Number 4, Cameron Crowe. He is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
I have no clue.
Another writer, producer, director.
Okay.
He did Fast Times. He did the Pearl Jam documentary.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Number 3, Seth Rogen. One of my,
yeah.
favorite, I have 3 comedians on this top 5. So one of my favorite, comedians, actors, writers. Number 2, Dave Grohl, obviously.
Yep.
Huge Foo Fighters are my favorite band ever. Love Nirvana. top 5 band for me. So yeah, and number 1, we also had a top list for this guy too. Well, I don't know if we had an official one, but he kind of started this whole thing. And I was one of his characters for Halloween this year. It's Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler, there you go.
So I don't, obviously for a 20-year stretch, that guy produced and wrote and starred in, classics every year. So yeah.
Dom, I got 2 questions.
Okay.
And it's for both. Actually, it's one question for 2 people. Would you want young Adam Sandler and young Seth Rogen, or now Adam Sandler and now Seth Rogen? Like if you pick a time period.
I would do I would do prime Seth Rogen.
That's obvious, I think.
Yeah, and then I think I would do now Adam Sandler because I think he's like I'm not gonna say he was never humble, but I think he's like a super humble dude now.
Yeah,
and like we'll have a conversation with anybody, and like dude, like you'll see videos of him just like playing basketball with like a bunch of kids in the neighborhood, like
yeah.
So I can also get him now, and from the things that he did when he was in Billy Madison at 25, 30 years old. Happy Gilmore and Big Daddy, so.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I do like the Seth Rogen, like back of the great like super bad days, knocked up days.
Yeah.
But like recently, Seth Rogen's kind of gotten on my nerves. I will say that. I don't know if it's a hot take.
I mean, he really hasn't been like.
Not recently, maybe in the last five years or so.
Yeah. Well, in terms of what?
He just seemed more annoying.
Okay.
That's real. Like I don't know. It's real vague. I know, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, his career kind of followed the same path. I mean, Sandler had, I think, a longer stretch.
Oh, sure.
But his career kind of followed that same thing, where the first like 5 or 6 movies that he did were like incredible, and then
yeah, absolutely.
And then he kind of put out a dud, and then I'll put out like a good one, and then 3 duds, and then like
Well, when the bar's set so high at first,
yeah.
It's hard to get anywhere near there.
You know who else I would probably have on here? Now and I'm thinking about it, Judd Apatow, the guy who produced all.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Tom, that was a good top 5.
Yeah. It really makes you think. Like you could sit here and be like, you could make like 20, like a top 20.
Yeah.
It just go on for days.
For sure. All I know is we named 15 people, but we're sexist because I think there was 1 woman named. I'm just gonna say that.
My wife. So my wife said that. I gave her my list, like in my honorable mentions. She's like, "Why do you not have any women like Serena Williams?" And I'm like,
I just
to be honest,
yeah,
like I don't care about tennis. I mean, obviously, I respect Serena and everything. And I made a joke. I'm like, well, then it'd be a date. And she'd be like, yeah, no, never mind.
Well, exactly. Like any girl that I could put on this list would be for like selfish reasons. Like that's all. That have different intentions. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess we'll just kind of address the elephant in the room. The Phillies obviously go down in 6 games to the Astros, and this might be kind of an unpopular approach, and maybe people are going to be, you guys especially, going to be surprised that I'm taking this route, but I'm not going to be on the pessimistic train. Like, this season was a gigantic success. Like, that's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm happy with the way the season turned out. I didn't really expect them to get anywhere near the World Series. The fact that they took the best team in baseball to 6 games in the World Series, I'm proud of the way the team played throughout the entirety of the postseason. And I have really, now granted, would it have been great for them to win the World Series? Absolutely. Wanted nothing more. But I just, and there's obviously negatives that happen in the World Series, and we'll talk about them. But I have no bad things to say about the collection of the season.
I also think too, like if anybody has, like if there are people that are sitting here saying that they, like if they disagree with that, because I agree with you, I think it's a huge success. I think if anybody who disagrees with that clearly started watching the Phillies in October.
In the playoffs, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Sure. So, this team was exactly, not, I wouldn't say exactly what they are, but, when they get no hit and they get shut out in the playoffs in the World Series, it's like even game 2, right? Even game 2 against Atlanta, like they get shut out, and it's like these people are so upset. And it's like, where were you in July? Like when I'm not surprised that this happened. So
yeah, because all season it's 6 runs, 2, 8 runs, 1,
none,
5 runs, none,
Right.
none. 8-6, none. Like, it's just so Jekyll and Hyde with this offense, and that's kind of like that. Like, the World Series was a representation of exactly what this Phillies team is. They
Right.
can go and score 7 runs in one game, and then the very next night get no hit.
Yeah. Mike, I'm also going to say, I was texting Dom about this yesterday. I'm also on that same page. I think this season was a huge success at the end of the day. I'm going to use the term you were playing with house money at a certain point to even get to the World Series and even be competitive in game 1 they were competitive.
Game 1 was the JT home run.
Yeah,
I
game
think
2, what was that score?
5-0 they lost, I believe.
Game 3
Game
was
3 was
7-0.
7-0. Game 4 was the no hit 5-0 game. Game 5 was they lost 3-2. They were down 3-1 and they tried to bury on a run late, and they couldn't finish the comeback. And then game 6
4-1.
was 4-1. Yeah.
So to be competitive in 3 of the 6 games and take 2, and beating, quite frankly, could be one of the greatest pitchers of all time in Justin Verlander in the World Series. Actually, they didn't beat him, but getting him out of there in the World Series
On the road, too.
on the road, yeah. So I think it was a huge success. I liked what Harper had to say at the end, like, hey, like, we're going to be back here with more pieces. He made sure he threw that in there to, like, hey, like, John, you need to go out there. Dave, you got to go out there and go get me some more pieces. But the better team won the World Series.
100%. 100%.
And I completely agree with you guys. Like I said, I think it's a huge success, but I'm also not going to lie and say that I'm not crushed. Like, I am somewhat crushed.
Yeah.
Like, at the way this finished. And the reason is, I think honestly the biggest reasons are, I feel so bad for Bryce Harper. Like, he went out there and he, like, it just as a fan, like, he went out there and, especially this whole playoffs, he's the one guy that from the first game to the last game of the playoffs showed up and played. And you know, I feel bad for that guy. I feel, obviously Schwarber showed up against San Diego the last 2 series of the last 2 series of the postseason.
And even showed up to a degree against the Astros.
What do you mean, Schwarber?
Schwarber, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The last 2 series of the postseason.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I misunderstood.
So only a handful of guys showed up. Like we said, Schwarber, Harper. I think Eflin showed up. Who else we got? Dominguez didn't really pitch too much in the World Series.
No.
There was another guy I had too.
Ranger.
That's what it is. Ranger.
Yeah, Ranger.
So you get these guys that show up, and, like, honestly, I think you never want to see your team lose in the playoffs. You never want to see them lose a championship. So it's tough. It is really tough. But
Sure, and sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
It's been 13 years since we've seen them in the World Series. If you're there and you get so close and you lose, you do start to think, well, it's been 13 years. Who knows when you're going to get that chance again?
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about too. It's like let's take all the championships that we were alive for that they won or lost, right? So, like, 2004 with the Eagles, that was, how old was I? 8 years old, 7 years old. That's kind of tough to understand or grasp, really, for me. So that wasn't too bad for me. Then you go to 2008, they win, obviously. 2009, they lose, which 2009 was a little bit easier because we just won, and you're thinking to yourself, we got Howard, we got Utley, we got Worth, we got Rollins, we got Victorino.
In the prime of their careers.
Yeah, we're going to be back here. We're probably going to win another one. So there's not too much to worry about. Obviously, they lose every round going forward, but and then you got 2010 with the Flyers, where I think that's the second worst I've ever felt, only because I never understood until now that they should have never won that series. Like I was 14 or 13 or 14 at the time, and I didn't understand it. Like, Chicago was as good as they were. So I was hurt for a while. Now I kind of understand, like, they shouldn't have even, not even that they shouldn't have been there, but, like,
it's like
there was no chance.
There's a lot of similarities between that 2010 team and this year's Phillies team, in a sense of, like, that Flyers team got in the playoffs on the very last game of the season, so they snuck in. They were down 3-0 against Boston. They were down 3-0 in Game 7 to Boston and made the comeback, full swing. And then they were playing a much better Chicago team, whereas the Phillies were playing a much better Astros
Right.
team. There's a lot of similarities between the two, absolutely.
Right. And we kind of talked about that too. You're firing the manager halfway through the year.
Yep.
You go on this run as a low seed, But then you go to the 18 Super Bowl, obviously, that's euphoria. And then and I don't know, I think this is the worst I'm ever coping with. I really do. I really feel that way. Mainly because look at this, right?
Dude, come on. How do you feel about the Union the other day too?
Dude, honestly, but as much as I don't care about soccer or the Union, you know how shitty it feels like that two teams from Philadelphia, like the first time ever that two teams in Philadelphia lost the championship on the same day. Like we're going to be known for that.
I'm going to be that guy. Who cares?
No, I'm going
to be that guy. Who cares?
It adds to the wound. Like it's salt to the wound.
Does
like it's
it?
just it just paints us, even worse. But
I don't even put the Union on my radar. I don't know.
no, I hear you. It's just I don't care about the Union either. I'm just saying, look at Philadelphia again. You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
but I think what hurt the most is, like we said, win game 1, you lose game 2. That's what you're hoping for in Houston. Going against Houston is a split. It would have been great to win 2, but it would have been
Sure.
horrible to lose 2.
Yep.
We're looking for a split, so we come back with a split. You come up 7-0 and hit all these homers, and you're up 2-1 with 2 home games left.
Yep.
That's what hurts the most. That's literally what's keeping me up at night.
Yeah, and some of the games down the stretch were winnable too.
And I'm not even saying they got to win the right. I'm not even saying that they got to win the World Series in Game 5, but you have to split. Like you're up 2-1 with the advantage, 2 games at home. You have to at least split.
Yeah, I tweeted this out as a little joke. I blame 2 people for the Philadelphia Phillies losing the series. I don't know if either of you saw this tweet.
Go ahead.
Okay, number 1 is Jim Kenny for setting up, planning this parade when you're only up 2-1. Everybody relax, wait until the series is done, and then figure your parade stuff out. And number 2 is Caleb Scott, because if you have this sort of dancing on my own, depressing, boring song as your anthem, you never stood a chance. You never stood a chance.
Okay, so I accidentally gave you false information when I told you about Jim Kenny setting up the parade.
No, apparently it did happen.
No, it did. No.
It was for the there was supposed to be a run on Saturday or I forget which day it was. They were setting up for the run, and then they wound up canceling it. That's what happened. I texted you guys and said this asshole's setting up for a parade, and there's this, that, and it was the porta potties and the gates were there was a run.
Okay,
there was like a run down Broad Street.
Okay,
I gave you false information.
That's fine. I'm still gonna blame Jim Kenny because I fucking can.
That's fine. I love that. That's.
But
good.
I still think it's Caleb Scott still to blame because that can't be your anthem.
Yeah, especially because it was stolen too.
Yeah, so they were kind of fucked from jump.
It's not even his song either.
No, it's
No.
not.
No.
It's some girl named Robin.
Yeah, from like the 80s or some shit. I don't even know.
So, one thing I'm not going to do is blame one single person. Did you guys see the WIP tweet?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
It's
know.
a combination.
I don't know why anybody listens to Sports Talk Radio in the city because it's all dreadful. I don't even have it up, but they were pretty much like, who's most to blame for the Phillies' loss? Rob Thompson, Castellanos, who else was there?
Wheeler and Nola? Was it Wheeler and Nola?
Maybe. No, Hoskins was on there too.
Okay.
Hoskins, Castellanos, Thompson, and maybe the 4th one was Nola.
Well, I think it was Nola.
I'm not gonna do that because it's a team sport, and when you have 7 of your 9 players that are automatic outs, game 4, 5, and 6, you don't stand a chance.
I heard a stat today. They struck out 78 times in just the World Series alone.
Yeah.
The Astros in 4 less games struck out 112 times in the entire playoffs.
Yep.
That's 4 innings a game you're just giving the Astros.
And if you take the 7 of the 9 players that are automatic outs, listen, Brandon Marsh, Bryson Stott, those guys hit lower in the lineup. They're not supposed to hit 300. You know what I mean? But what hurts. This is what hurts the most is when JT gets paid like the best catcher in baseball. When Nick Castellanos makes signs a 5-year, $100 million deal. Rhys Hoskins, is supposed to be this 30 home run guy, they disappear. It's the meat of your order. That's your 2 5 and 6 hitter or whatever it is, 2 4 and 5 or 2. No, what is it? 2 3 and 5.
2 3 and 5. Yeah.
Right. So like those guys are supposed to show up. They get paid to show up.
And none of them did. I mean, it's just
except JT in game 1. After game 1,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
like, he was bad pretty much the whole series other than game 1. Reese is tough. Just because he did play a big part in them getting as far as they did. Like, he had big hit after big hit.
For sure.
But his glove was a big issue, and just not productive at bats. Like just going up there and flailing at anything, and just striking out all the time. Sorry,
he
go ahead.
walks so much in the
regular season. But I'll tell you why though. Because when you get to the playoffs, good teams throw strikes. He's just not a great hitter. Like he's used to going up there and taking walks. When you get to the playoffs, especially the World Series against the Astros, who have one of the best pitching staffs of all time, one of the best bullpens ever, like they're not going to walk you. They're only going to throw strikes. You have to hit the ball.
Yep.
I mean, it is frustrating because all year he works the count and he goes 2-0 and 3-0 and creates a walk, but like he's going down 0-2, 1-2 and striking out. It's just like because these teams throw strikes, you have to hit the ball. That's how you're going to win. You don't win by walking all the time.
No. And then when Castellanos comes to bat, you don't even have to throw him a strike. You can just throw him absolute junk, and he's swinging at it 1, 2, 3 up and down. I mean,
and the best part is, especially, and you saw it in the World Series, like his at bats were getting better as the series went on, and as the bats went on. But that's the thing is like the first pitch, you kind of notice the first pitch that's a ball he would lay off. So I was watching the game Thursday with a bunch of guys, and like I turned to one of them and I said, I think it was his second at bat. I think it was when he lined out the shortstop. I turned to him and I said, he's getting better on that first pitch ball, but like throw him a strike. Yeah. And then after that, you don't have to throw a single strike to him because he'll swing at everything. When he sees a strike, he changes his approach a little bit, but like as soon as he sees a strike, throw everything outside, blow it away.
Yeah. I don't know how much more to see. Sorry, go ahead. What?
Did you guys see that at the game some people were heckling his wife?
His kid too, yeah.
Oh, really? His kid too?
Yeah. I know his wife was getting some stuff. His mom was getting some stuff on Twitter.
That's the kind of stuff where that's ridiculous. Like, come on, Philly, you got to be better than that.
I'll read you his wife's tweet.
Yeah, I agree. Now you're a professional athlete playing in Philadelphia. You should be able to take the heat, but don't go after the guy's family. Like
exactly.
Especially, I mean, he's got 3 years left after it was a 4-year deal, right?
5 year.
5 year.
5 year, $100 million.
So he's got 4 years left.
Well,
I mean, he's essentially brand new here, and
his wife tweeted 3 days ago, "To the absolute bimbo who just talked to my kid like that, I got 4 more years here. See you soon." In all caps.
Yeah,
I didn't see that, but yeah, that's tough. I definitely wouldn't do that.
And I think that was after game 4 or 5, or after game 5, because she then tweeted.
I saw the
first.
She
tweeted his mom or
from
his wife.
Yeah, she tweeted something else that I saw.
Need all these rough Phillies fans to direct all their attention and negativity towards the other team and not us. Let's go Phils.
That's the one.
And then she tweeted. Yeah, then she tweeted, "We're here for 4 more years."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
and the thing with him too. What I'm going to say about him though. Listen, it was not as rough of a year as people thought it was either. Like we even talked about in the group chat. Mike looked at the splits each month. I think it was May, June, and October. He was terrible. Every other month he hit over 300 or better. So like, and he finished with 262. I think obviously the homers are down, but I don't know if he's the same guy he was last year, where he hit 34 homers and
I don't know that I expect
100 RBIs. Right, but he's also not this guy. Like he's closer to that guy, but he's not that guy.
Yeah,
but he's definitely not this guy. We've seen that from his career. Like he's a 20 to 25 homer guy, 90 RBIs. Who's going to hit 280, 290. So,
yeah, I think Smoltz was even saying it in there. Like, he's going to be the man next year. Like he just needs a year to adjust to Philadelphia, and he really he's going to be the man next year. So
plus too, like I don't know if you guys saw what he said too a couple weeks ago. It was like once his house gets leaked on where he lives, it's like it kind of plays a mental. It's like a mental thing too, where like these people where I live, like he said, when he gets off the baseball field, he's not a celebrity anymore. Like he goes home and he hangs out with his family and like all that shit. And it's like between that and getting hit on the hand in April and having a kid halfway through the year and already struggling and it's it's a total mental game. Like it's just one thing after another.
Yeah. Maybe he should just again move out of Ben Simmons' house and the demons will leave and maybe he'll turn into like the MVP candidate Nick Castellanos again. We could hope, right? My biggest problem again, as bad as he was, is and I talked about it a little bit in the Brave series, or maybe it was the Padres series, but Thompson's inability or flat out reluctance to change the order in any way, shape, or form. Like you see guys like Hoskins and Castellanos just struggling. Switch the lineup around. Move Castellanos down in the order. Move Harper up in the order. Like I want him getting more at bats. Just a whole bunch of things that like Thompson just refused to do.
Yeah. It's tough because you get here at this point with this lineup, so it's like sure. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I really don't. Castellanos had a decent series against the Braves. Schwarber was horrible early on, and we've talked about him leading off. So yeah, I don't know. I would Harper hit third too, just so that he could see more pitches. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. It really is because I don't know. I guess maybe he thinks they don't get there without that lineup because that's what got them there. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was going like, hey, like let me just continue to throw the same thing out there and hopefully it's going to hit.
Yeah,
it obviously didn't hit. It didn't work.
Yeah.
I have also like one question. Why do you take Wheeler out there? Do you guys have like what are you thinking on that?
He did it with Nola too.
I was about to bring up both scenarios where Nola
left bases loaded, right?
Bases loaded, nobody out. And then I think was that the Bregman double or what?
No, Alvarado hit the dude.
That's right. He hit the first batter, and then I think Bregman came up and hit a single or double and scored two more.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the Wheeler one's tough because you don't know how fatigued he is. Like he needed that extra day or two of rest. I don't know how much of a difference it made because like they just couldn't hit. Like the Phillies were never going to win that game 1-0. So even if you leave him in, and even if he does only get get one more run scored against them, because I think the guy came up and ended up hitting the 3-run home run, right? Is that the
Alvarez?
And then that made it 4-1, or that made it 3-1.
3-1.
3-1, right? So, but even if Wheeler stays in, lets one run in with the 1-1, I don't know if the Phillies ever score again. Like I just
but
it's a different game, sure.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm not. You might be right, but at the same time, it's like if it's a 1-1 game or if it's still a 1-0 game, you never know. It's different bullpen strategy.
Sure, and your guy comes in, and he gives up the 3-run home run, and now you're on the you're batting or whatever, and you're oh fuck, now we're down 3-1. Like it's deflating.
Right.
For sure.
Especially what was it, the 6th or 7th inning?
7th. It was the bottom of the 6th when it happened. So yeah, and then I don't know. Alvarado kind of was off in the World Series. I don't know if it was
he was really bad.
I don't know if it was the pressure points that he was put in. That's a hard situation. Bases loaded, no outs.
That's tough. But when he does that in that spot, I'm curious why not go to Dominguez later in the series in Game 6 instead of Alvarado. Like
that's what I was thinking.
Like you saw it happen once with Alvarado.
Gotta go with your best guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, Alvarez crushes lefties.
Yeah.
Yep. And also
he's got like reverse splits. It's weird.
Yeah.
We know like the harder you throw, the faster it leaves the ballpark. Like that's kind of like that's going to happen. So you're not going to outpower Alvarez. You're not going to outpower him. So I don't know. I would have left Wheeler in there and tried to get a double play.
I
I
agree.
don't know what's the worst thing that happens there. He's already going to get charged with those runs anyway. So
Well, we talk about Rob Thompson, and like throughout the entire playoff, I think he was over managing. Now, early on, it just worked out, and they were just winning games, so it didn't really matter. But there's definitely a case where in the playoffs he overmanaged a lot.
and you know why that is, Mike? Why I think that is? I think because he knows in his own mind that they shouldn't have been there. So when you get into that position, you have to overmanage. Unlike where the Astros, like McCullers is getting lit up and he's still in the game.
I know. Yeah.
Or who was the other one? Blake Snell in the Padres series. Like they just left him in the game. Like Thompson would have had him out of there by then.
Yeah.
I think it just has to come down to like that your team's good enough to dig out of those situations where Thompson's like, I don't know if my team's that good. I need to just make a switch right now.
Yeah. Fair enough. The last thing I will say before we kind of move on to off-season stuff, because the off-season, baseball is such a quick turnaround. Like we're already talking off-season and free agency in a couple of days. But the one thing that I will say about the Houston Astros is I finally want to put to bed the whole cheating stuff. Like, I'm tired of hearing about the cheating scandal from 2017. I know we talked about this last week. I'm tired of hearing about was the pitcher using sticky stuff. What was the latest cheating scandal? Oh, did he lean into the pitch? It's baseball. Just go out there and play and beat your opponent, and there's no excuses. That's it.
So, Mike, you're an Astros fan? This is crazy.
I'm not an Astros fan. I do enjoy watching the Astros. I don't know that makes me a fan of the Astros. I'm just tired of hearing about like it's such a loser mentality.
Oh, you're gonna hear it the rest of your life because I'm just gonna crush you.
That's
with it
fine.
now.
That's fine. But I just go and beat your like. I don't be like, oh, we lost because they cheated. Like, no, they're just a better team. That's all.
No. Let's get this thing clear. The Phillies lost because they couldn't hit.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
That's literally the biggest reason why. And it wasn't one guy. It was like we said, Hoskins, JT, Castellanos. You know, it's like you said, Rob Thompson, his over managing kind of caught up to him. I will say this too: the whole lean-in scandal. What was that? Saturday's game.
Yeah, Maldonado.
Yeah, I will say this: I don't think he leaned in, but I have an issue with the rule. I have an issue with the rule, though.
Okay.
I don't think you should be able to. Why is there a batter's box then? I don't think you should be able to put your foot on the chalk.
He was in the box, wasn't he?
No, he was on the line.
Oh, he was on the line.
On the line.
Okay.
That's the issue that I have.
He said it after the game. Like, I don't know if you guys watched after the game, but he was like, they asked him, like, hey, you stood in there and you got hit by the pitch. And he's like, yeah, I know he was throwing a lot of inside pitches. I just stood there and didn't move.
Yeah, no. I'm cool with that.
He basically said, like, I went in there trying to get hit.
And that's fine.
Perfectly fine.
With the Phillies as bad as they were hitting, like, find creative ways to get on base. Like, that's what he should be doing.
That's perfectly fine. He could stand as far in as he wants, especially as a pitcher. Like, that's fine. Stay inside. If he's throwing inside, that is a clear legal advantage. But I just have an issue with why have a batter's box? Yep. Yeah, why have a batter's box if you're allowed to stay on the? I don't know if you're allowed to. Are you allowed to stay on the chalk? I don't know.
You shouldn't. It should be counted as a strike.
Right.
It's like if you step on the plate and swing, it's a strike.
Right. So, if it's not the rule, it should be the rule. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's fair. I do agree with that. That's totally fair.
Yeah, there were some interesting calls that were made in these playoffs too. Like was that fair or was it foul on that first? Who hit that?
Schwarber. I think it was Schwarber down the line.
Yeah, with Marsh on first running. Like, okay, like the rules state it was fair, right? I think we all talked about it should have been called a fair ball.
Yep.
And at least in real time, you call that a fair ball and then review it and let it play out that way because it passed over the first base in fair territory. Now, it landed in foul territory, but the rule is it has to cross first base in fair territory. So
the one on Saturday kind of happened too again.
Yeah, down on third base, right?
It was the third base side, I believe. Yeah.
That was Castellanos.
Okay.
Castellanos hit that one.
And again, going back to that game, I think we texted. I think it was after our last show. So, the Schwarber thing, it's a nothing game at that point. This is the no hit game.
Yep.
Schwarber comes up, man. Marsh is on first. He hits that down the line. Marsh probably score,
Marsh
or at least
definitely
gets a
scored.
third.
It was
Right.
a hit and run. He was
Right.
running. He was already moving on it.
Right. So it's a 0-0 game at that point. He scores, it's 1-0. Again, it changes the whole series.
Whole entire game, whole entire series, 100%.
That's why I don't understand. Like in football, they don't blow it dead anymore because you could always review it. Why do you?
They call a
why-
touchdown, yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you just do? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Or why can't you challenge that to be a fair ball?
Yeah, but
Dude,
like, what is the call? Like, I know you guys both said one base, but
Or at the discretion, like we saw it earlier. Was it this series where the guy actually did lean into the plate or did lean into the pitch, and it's at the ump's discretion of whether that ball was going to be a strike or ball. Same thing. If it's a hit and you overturn it and it is a fair ball, say, all right, well this guy should have been on second, that guy should have been on third. There you go. That's our call.
It's so funny. My wife actually, we were watching the game, and she said, "Why can't you review that?" And I was like, "You can't review balls and strikes." Or it was the Castellanos, the strikeout. It was a terrible call. Terrible call.
That was so bad.
Low and inside.
Yeah.
She said, "Why can't you review that?" And I said, "Well, it's the same thing as foul and fair. You can't review." She's like, "Well, why?" And I'm like, "Because that's the rule." I'm like, "Well, why is that the rule?" I said, "Because Major League Baseball is not good." I don't know. I don't work for Major League
It'll happen at some point. Do you see what they're doing in the minor leagues?
With the automatic strike zone.
So it's an automatic strike zone, but it's a little funky depending on where it like goes or whatever. Sometimes it's not 100% accurate, but you can. I forget how many. You get a certain amount of challenges per. I don't know if it's per inning or per game, but and the challenge can't come from the bench. It can only come from the pitcher, the batter, or the catcher. That's it. It can't come from the bench, so nobody's watching a tablet to see where exactly the pitch left. It's basically if the batter feels, no, I feel like that was a little low. Challenge, and all he does is tap his helmet. Like he taps his helmet. All right, I want to challenge. Takes him 2 seconds to look at it. That's it. That's happened in the minor leagues. That'll happen at some point when robo umps do come to MLB, because it will happen at some point within the next few years. I think.
And I'm sitting here saying how like, how shitty it was that they got the wrong call. But I'm on the Schwarber one in Game 4. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
At the same time, like I'm very pro human, Like I think umps should still be calling the game.
Yeah, I used to be that way, but with how I don't know, like how close some calls are, and like I just want you to get the play right. And I don't know.
It helped us out in some games too. Like Profar did not swing on that check swing either. Like in the
I thought he went.
San Diego series, like I didn't think. I thought he held up on that, and that was a huge strikeout in that game.
Well, the weird thing about check swing is it's subjective. Like there's no.
Well, you have to cross the front of the plate.
Yeah, but I think the way the rules are
But
written,
if you miss it, well, I don't think it's subjective. I just think if like subjective means you have an opinion.
Yeah.
From like a fact, kind of, where if the ump missed it, I don't think it's subjective, really. Like I just think the ump misses it. Like
yeah, maybe.
But I mean, the Phillies caught a break too. I think on a strikeout. I don't know if it was Game 5 or 6.
Was it Harper?
Yeah, I think it was Harper. Yeah,
yeah.
He 100% went, and they didn't. They said no swing. So
Or there was another bad call where I think it was Schwarber, where Schwarber should have struck out, and he literally started walking to the dugout. And
it might have been
no
that
ball.
one then. Yeah.
No, it was a different one because Schwarber was a check, or Harper's was a check swing that should have been called. Schwarber didn't even swing; it was a pitch in the zone. Schwarber realized I got beat, started literally walking to the dugout, and then it was like a ball, and he's like, "Oh, all right, let me walk."
I think it was the first. Was that the first at bat?
No, I think it was middle of the game. I forget what it was. I don't remember. It's been a long series.
Yeah.
Can I tell you one thing that really annoys me about baseball, or at least the Phillies? They struck out looking so many times.
Yep,
you never strike out looking, especially in the World Series. Like, strike out looking and, like, just knowing it was a strike. It wasn't one of those where it was like, it was close. I didn't swing because it could, it was on the outside. It's right down the middle, and, like, you just drop your bat and just walk away. Like,
they're walking away before the call even.
I know
because
they know it's a strike. Yeah. It's they're looking for something and they don't see it, so they freeze up and they're like, "Oh shit, it's too late now. It's a strike."
And it's that combined with the Reese effect, where they're a team that looks for walks.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're looking to get guys on base.
Yeah, but like, yes and no, because at the same time as they're taking strike 3 right down the middle, and that same exact bat, they're swinging at garbage in the dirt.
Yep.
Well, that's been the Phillies for how long?
True.
It even goes back to the Kingery years where strike 1 and 2 are in the dirt, and you watch a strike 3 down the middle.
Yeah.
I think what's going to help the Phillies out a ton next year is the shift rule.
Yeah,
I think
I hope so.
Schwarber's going to have a ton more hits, and so is Harper. Harper's going to have a ton more hits next
Harper
year.
might lead the league in hits.
Yeah. Do you know? Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Schwarber's average is going to go up.
Well, I hope so, because I don't want my leadoff batter hitting 200. But he won't be the leadoff
Well,
batter. Trey
I was
Turner
gonna
will be.
say-
We'll
I was
get
gonna
to
say.
that. We'll get to that in a second. Before we do that, let's go into some options and things like that. So the Phillies did pick up Nola's $18 million option. I don't think that's really a surprise. He was going to stay.
I hated that. I hate
You
that
hate it.
decision. I hate
Okay.
that decision.
Why do you hate that decision?
I
You
don't
let him
like
walk?
that. I don't.
Let him
I
walk.
would I would test the free agency, and I think you get him
For
at a
him or
cheaper
for the Phillies?
price.
Oh, okay.
I think the Phillies could have got him at a cheaper price. I don't think
disagree.
you think he's
I
you think
don't-
he's an
I disagree.
$18 million a year guy.
Yes.
I don't know if he is, but he was going to get
Somebody
paid by
would have given that. Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody would have given that to him.
So
I
he's
think
he's a decent starter, good starter, whatever you want to say. I don't think he's an ace.
And he has great moments
there
too,
is
which people
so-
like.
right.
Yeah.
And
I think
his
he's a
ERA was
three.
down this year.
I think he's a 3 at best.
That's fine, but other teams may view him or may need him as a number 2 or number 1.
Somebody would have given him
pitching
that.
doesn't
Yeah.
right. Pitching doesn't grow off trees. Like
Yeah,
somebody was going to pay him.
I just think 18's a lot of money. I think you could have got him for like that $14-15 million a deal a year.
Well, I don't know, because at the same time, Eflin thinks he's getting more than
I
15.
know.
And Nola's going to get more than. I mean, Nola's worth more than Eflin, but Eflin
Yeah,
turns
you're right.
down his
Yeah.
$15 million.
Eflin might get
option.
less, a lot less.
Yeah, so I don't
because
know why he's turning that down. It's weird.
Eflin can be one of the best bullpen arms in this league. He does not want to be in the bullpen, and I think
Nope.
all these teams are going to say, "We'll give you money to be in the bullpen," and he's going to say,
Do,
"Nah."
do you think he can be a legitimate, like, great bullpen guy?
I think
Yeah,
he
I
could be a
'Cause
closer.
I don't know.
I don't know if
that's
he can be
like-
a closer.
He doesn't seem like a late game kind of guy. He seems more like a long relief role.
Nah, I think he's a perfect 7th or 8th guy.
Setup. Yeah.
7th, 8th inning guy. Perfect. I think that's
Yeah.
what I think he could make so much money being that guy, and he doesn't want to be that guy. He just wants to be a starter. And I think he was willing to come out of the bullpen this year because A, it wins them a
Injuries.
championship, helps them win a championship, and B, I don't know, he's a team player. Maybe he thought he could make more money. I don't know. But
So
I
yeah,
think he is the perfect 7th or 8th inning guy.
Yeah. But either way, he turns down his $15 million option. The Phillies declined Gene Segura's club option. So I don't know if they're going to still try to work things out with him or if he officially will move on. Or, I mean, maybe they go out and get Trey Turner and move Stott over to second base. That'd be the ideal thing,
Which
in my opinion.
I agree. I obviously Trey Turner's the top free agent, right? In baseball,
I would
probably.
say so, yeah.
I mean, I don't know a list off the top of my head, but
Him, Bogarts, I mean,
yeah,
Correa.
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 But well, that's the thing too. Like that's what I kind of wanted to get into. Like if it's not Trey Turner, I think ideally Stott goes the second. I think that's the most ideal.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I would want to see is Stott go to second and sign one of these shortstops. My list would be Trey Turner, Bogarts, Correa, and then there's another one, right? Oh, Dansby.
I like Dansby a lot. Like he's a 4th on that list. But if they walked away with Dansby, I'm happy with that.
If they walk away with Dansby and those other 4 guys get way like not overpaid, but like they just weren't in the same,
Sure.
stratosphere, then yeah, all right, I'll take Dansby.
Oh wait, I was just looking at this. Aaron Nola was $16 million a year, not 18.
Is it 16? I thought it was 18.
I thought it was 18 too.
Yeah, no. This says Phillies exercise $16 million club option on Aaron Nola for 23. Because I'm trying to find the top guys. Because I know
Yeah.
Dom was just saying that.
You guys can talk amongst yourselves, and I'll try to find it. I gotta. Swear
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean,
18.
and there were a ton of guys who obviously like Mike said earlier, like it kind of started today, the off season. So all these people coming and going. I've seen so many names today that's like and so many different numbers about what they decline and what they pick up. So
it was 16. Okay, so I just had fat
Okay.
fingers and fucked it up when writing it into our notes,
Uh,
or I just read it wrong somewhere else. One or the other.
Well, then I feel okay. I know it's going to sound crazy. I feel better at 16 than 18.
Yeah,
I know
fair
that
enough.
sounds like it's $2 million difference, but I think that's really where he's like that 15, $16 million guy. What's his name? Just the Rizzo just declined his option with the Yankees too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I've heard Rizzo's name. It's basically Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah, but he's a lot better defensively.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lot
but like,
better.
It's production
And he gets better
wise,
for
it's
average.
Not
Is-
much.
Yeah, he does. Reese
Yeah, he
is in the
does.
240s. He's in the almost
260?
He's probably like 265.
Yeah. But
Well,
I
listen,
think power,
listen.
power numbers down as well. Like we
He
talk
hit-
about.
No, he's in the 30s. He was in the 30s this year. 30
I
homers.
don't- Did he?
You want to bet?
Yeah.
You want to bet?
I might be thinking of
did.
somebody else. Is there another first
I
baseman
think
out
he
there?
hit 32. He hit 32,
32.
80,
Yeah, you're right.
80
Yeah,
something RBIs.
I think I'm thinking of somebody else. Hold on.
80. How many RBIs? 80s.
He had RBI 75.
Okay, close. And then he hit his average was way down this year. It was like in the 220s. But
224.
yeah. But he's a career like 265 hitter. He's hit over 300 multiple times.
I'm
In
sorry.
the
I was thinking,
270s and 280s.
my bad. I was thinking of Josh Bell.
Okay, I would take Josh
Yeah.
Bell in a heartbeat.
me too.
He's also
Easily.
the same exact person as Reese.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right, pull up his numbers.
No, he's a switch hitter.
Hold on.
That's valuable right there.
And
I guess.
he's probably not much better than Reese, but he's better than Reese in the field.
266 average.
Career?
This past
Right,
season.
okay, better than Reese.
262 career.
Yeah, it's way better.
Strikeouts 102 strikeouts. It's a
So
little
Reese
better than
is-
Reese, but not much. Reese I think has
Yeah.
135, 140. Let me see. 71 RBIs. I don't
Okay.
have Reese's in front of me. So I can
Reese
pull
probably
it
had
up.
like in the 80s too.
Let me see here. Regular season 72.
Okay, yeah.
So 71 to 72. So that's about even. Home run 17. Has only been above 30 once in his career. But 17 this year.
Yeah, but he didn't start once he moved over to San Diego.
Yeah, he platooned a lot.
Okay, but still, I mean, he's never hit over 30. Do you want that out of your first baseman?
Yeah, but how many times has Reese done it? Twice?
This year and his first year,
No, his first year was 18.
second year.
18, 34, 29, 10, 27, 30. So twice.
You're also looking at how Josh Bell, he hit over 25 3 times. How many times has Reese done it?
Over 25?
Yeah,
3.
probably more.
3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 more. Okay. So,
I just think they're very similar players.
yeah, they're similar, but I would take Josh Bell. I would take Josh Bell over Hoskins.
Okay, fair enough.
When do we find out if they're gonna go to arbitration with Hoskins? When would that be?
It's probably soon.
Soonish, yeah. I would say like towards the middle end of this month. They'll probably
Do you-
start.
what
I
do
don't
you
I don't
think?
think I don't think it has to be done.
I'm trying to look
Until-
it up.
What are you guys thinking on Reese?
Well, before we do that too, I think arbitration, like you can start the process, but they don't sit down until like later on. It's really strange.
I can't find it.
Uh-oh. Am I frozen?
No, you're good.
I could hear you. Your face is frozen. You haven't moved, but I could hear you. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's moving a little bit. We gotta take, what was his last question? I'll try to answer it.
Arbitration.
About Reese?
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about Josh Bell and Rizzo. I really don't think there's much of a difference between either of them. Like, I think they're all kind of similar. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but I think they're very similar. So the more I think about it, I think Reese is going to be on this team next year.
You do.
I do. Yeah. Unless Dombrowski gets creative and signs this superstar from Japan. I forget his name.
But he's an outfielder, right?
Correct, but he gets creative and moves him to left field. Move him to left field, move Schwarber to first. I think he's the only way
Okay.
you don't see Rhys Hoskins here. Dom, you back?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. So my latest thought was I think Rhys Hoskins will be on the Phillies next year unless Dombrowski is creative and signs like this stud from Japan. I forget his name. Moves him to left field and moves Schwarber to first base. I think it's the only way you see Rhys Hoskins not here anymore next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think he comes back too.
The options are just too
they figure out, an arbit.
He's spazzing out again.
Yeah,
He's in and out. There he goes. He left. It never fails with Dom. He's always got technical issues.
Technical issues.
Always. What else were we talking about? So
I guess we're talking about Trey or Carlos Correa or a third pitcher. Who's your pitcher you're gonna go get?
Carlos Rodon.
You think?
My guy. I would love that. I would love Carlos Rodon.
Who's out there?
Pitching wise, who's out there? Hold on.
You know what? I pay so much money for Amazon, and I don't get that shit on time, and I pay so much money to Xfinity, and I get this shitty ass Wi-Fi.
That's fair enough. So to answer your question, Chris, let me see who's out there.
What was the question?
DeGrom.
We're starting pitcher to try to get a third pitcher here.
Rodon.
That's who I said. Rodon.
That's exactly what Dom just said. You don't want DeGrom?
That's a loaded question.
Trevor Bauer. How about him?
Yeah,
he's suspended, right?
He is. It's so weird. He's had his.
It's a different conversation for a different day.
True, I know, but he has had his appeal open since April, and there's been no update about his appeal, so I don't know. But
Verlander's a free agent.
He is. Yes.
40 years old.
He has a player option. I don't know if he exercised that or not. So David Price, Jake DeGrom, Verlander, Rodon, Syndergaard, Clayton Kershaw. Well, back to Syndergaard. Do you think they bring him back or no?
I think it depends on the price and who else they would bring in. Like if he's your fifth guy, I wouldn't be that, I guess.
Clayton Kershaw, Nathan Eovaldi, Zach Greinke, Carlos Carrasco, James Paxton, Sean Manaea, Kyle Gibson. I don't want. I swear, I'm not Kyle Gibson back.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
Yeah.
Mike Minor, Chris
Rich Hill's out there at 42.
No,
We've had luck with that before with Jamie Moyer.
Rich Hill is not Jamie Moyer.
Yeah.
Tyler Anderson, Jake Odorizzi. There's names. To me, again, it's Carlos Rodon.
Okay.
And he's a lefty too.
I would be thinking about Verlander if he's a free agent, but if you think you can get back.
Yeah, because he's going to win the Cy Young again this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I also think him and Kate Upton are the perfect fit here in Philly.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
But that kind of leads me into something I wanted to talk about too. Obviously, if that was even an option to sign him, or even other guys that would want to try to win, they were talking on WIP, like Glenn McEnroe, one of the very few good shows on the radio, on Sunday morning. Is this team more like the '93 team where you go to a World Series and then it's just dead for 15 years? Or is it the 07 team where it's just the beginning of this run where I think, and I think Magnow said it too, they're kind of in the in-between that, where they're probably going to continue to make runs. Maybe they get back to a World Series. Maybe they don't. But I think it's closer to the 07, 08, 09 run, but not as much winning. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I know, again, you guys are hit or miss with Bleacher Report, but they had a way too early 2023, and they have the Phillies finishing first in the East with 95 wins this upcoming year. I
think if you play your cards right and you spend the money and you do the same things that you need to do to build the rest of this lineup, they can win 100 games. You get Harper healthy, you get Castellanos back into what he was before. You get Schwarber out of the leadoff spot and you hit him in the middle of the lineup. you take away the shift. You sign Trey Turner, Carlos Correa, whoever.
You go get those,
bring in
those young
those
guns
pitchers.
from the young guns from the minor leagues.
Right. I think they could be very, very scary. It's just a matter of like what they're going to do and how they're going to spend money and if they're going to bring them up and if they're ready to be brought up. And it's just kind of a what if. I think it's all possible, but I don't know. Like it's no accident. Like it's no accident with Trey Turner that like Harper's on the broadcast saying, you know, Trey Turner's my favorite player in the league. Like, it's him talking to John Middleton. I don't know if it gets done or, you know, but it's not by accident.
I'll take any of the four. I'll take Xander. I'll take Correa. I'll take Trey Turner, and I'll take Dansby Swanson.
I'll rephrase that. I want Trey Turner, Carlos Correa, or Bogarts, and I'll take Dansby Swanson. My view.
I like all four of those guys. I just think
he's an upgrade, though.
I think
upgrade.
Trey
sure.
Turner. I think Trey Turner is such a missing piece for this team because we talked all year about how they don't have a leadoff guy, and he would be perfect and play a good shortstop. I think he is the absolute perfect fit here.
Yeah,
I just think he's gonna want a lot of money. Like he's
Tell
gonna
you
get
what,
a lot of money.
Ain't my money, give it to him.
yeah, but then
I
are they
hear
going to be able to afford a Rondon?
Right.
How much money did John Middleton just make from his team going to the World Series? He wants to do that again.
I don't disagree with you, and I don't think that you're wrong. Like but I just it's a business first. So like I don't know. I don't know. He spent a lot of money this past offseason.
Sure, no, absolutely. Switching gears a little bit because to stick with the pitching, they do need relief help, and one guy that I'm really interested in is Andrew Chafin. Go out and get Andrew Chafin, probably one of the best relievers available, lefty. Yep. I mean, his numbers are just great. Like he's coming off of a 2.83 ERA. The year prior was 1.83. He's got a career 3.23. Lefty again. Just get me Andrew Chafin.
And the good thing about this bullpen too, it's like going into this postseason, like before the postseason started, it was like, well, what's the bullpen gonna be? It's probably good. You know, we're lucky to even beat the St. Louis, you know, beat the Cardinals. You know, what's this bullpen really gonna be? And they've been great for the most part.
Yeah.
But guys like Connor Brogdon has impressed me so much.
Sure.
Like I am sitting here saying, wow, this guy, he's on my team next year, like easily. Like him. Dominguez showed up.
Nick Nelson.
Even Nick Nelson. Like Alvarado.
Nick Nelson,
Bellotti.
like I still don't want him on my team to be.
No,
I
I agree.
agree.
I agree.
I don't want Hand on my
Completely.
team. Brad Hand can go kick rocks.
I don't
What's
think
his
he will
contract?
be.
I think
He's
it was
a free
Was it
he's a
1
free
year?
agent. Yeah, so Chris Stavinsky, Kyle Gibson, Brad Hand, Corey Knebel, David Robertson, and Noah Syndergaard are all expiring deals and are officially
Wow,
free
remember
agents.
Knebel? Wow.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to say is, going into next year, who's in your bullpen? Brogdon, Dominguez, Alvarado. Who else
Nick
pitched for them?
Nelson.
I think he's an on the fence guy.
Who was that- who was
maybe
that
he's your
last name?
long man.
Nick
Nelson?
Nelson.
Nick Nelson. Yeah, I think he's borderline.
Like he's gonna be up and down in the AAA like he was this year.
Maybe if Eflin realizes he can't get starter money, maybe he's back in the bullpen.
Right. So
Maybe.
yeah, I even the guy Suarez who Harper hit the homer off of against San Diego against San
Yeah,
Diego.
he's a free agent.
I would even consider him. He's a really good bullpen arm. Like
Yeah.
he's a free agent. Like the reason they kept him in the game was because he was great against lefties this year as a right-handed pitcher, and he just got beat by one of the better pitchers in the game. So like,
Sure.
I would love to see them add, and I want them to, but I really wanted to give props to Brogdon. I think he really pitched really well in this postseason
Sure.
and got himself a spot in this bullpen next year without a problem.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't have much else. Like my perfect offseason is you name you sign 3 guys, and I just named Andrew Chafin as one, and Carlos Rodon and Trey Turner. Sign those 3 guys, and I think you are serious contenders.
Well,
what if
they like? I don't know. I guess Chafin's your top bullpen guy.
He's one of the top guys available.
I was gonna say like, what if they sign like? I don't know, like Trey Turner, Rodon, and like 2 bullpen arms, like instead of just one. You know what I mean? Like I
Sure.
got
So the guys available are well, it says Edwin Diaz, but didn't he just sign a 5-year deal? or
yeah,
something?
5 years today.
All right, so Chapman, Jansen, Kimbrel, Will Smith, Zach Britton,
Will Smith.
Knebel, Will Harris. Will Smith is good, yeah, and he is a lefty. So I'm
Let's
not
say
opposed
most
there.
of those guys are cooked.
Will Harris, Trevor May, Taylor Rogers is interesting, but he hasn't been
Yeah.
great. And then Andrew Chafin, which he's my guy if I have to get one. Brad Hand, and then it falls off quick for lefties. There's not much lefties left. Because I do think they need a lefty out of the pen.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. Well, we've gone on an hour and 7 minutes, and we haven't even talked. We've just talked Phillies. So, do you guys want to talk about? I'll be honest with the game. That would have been game 4. Was during the Eagles game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, game 4. So I didn't watch a second of the Eagles game. I don't know if either of you did. So I couldn't tell you about it. I don't know if you want to give a quick synopsis. I know they won. But yeah, did you guys watch it at all?
I was not out, but I went over to somebody's house for the game, and we had the double TV, and it was really hard to like kind of focus on the Eagles. We watched, but yeah, I mean, from what I saw, Jalen looked like the same guy he's been all year. The defense kind of let up early, but then they kind of settled in. But I've been like
Pierce had a ton of yards. Weren't they running all over the Eagles?
Yeah, 128.
Yeah.
But I've just been so focused on the Phillies, and
Yep, same.
so I can't even remember what I saw from the Eagles. So
They played a good game. Miles had another touchdown. He's getting in that category where now you got to seriously start considering him for next year. Are you gonna keep him? Are you gonna re-sign him, or are you gonna go do something in the draft? What else did I see? AJ Brown had another good touchdown.
Yeah.
Dallas
got
Goedert
tripped up again.
Yep. Yeah. Dallas Goedert destroyed Houston. He had 100 receiving yards. Devontae Smith was missing again. I'm trying to think what else really happened. Defense came on late. Javon Hargraves had 3 sacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of nice plays by the linebackers.
Chauncey CJGJ had his 5th interception. So
And a sack, too.
Really?
Right?
yeah, and the sack. He's leading the league in interceptions.
He had 5 career interceptions going into this year. He
He's
just
got
tied it.
5 this year. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got more interceptions than like 5 or 6 whole teams. Like, Houston might be one of those 5 teams or whatever they are.
Bradbury got beaten for a touchdown by some rookie, and that's really it. That was the game.
I kind of wish they did a little bit more at the deadline, but I would have liked another running back just in case, because again we talked about it. As good as Sanders has been, his health has always been an issue, or question mark rather. And behind it gets really thin behind him. And then
Sure.
I really wish they would have brought another. Same thing with Goddard. Goddard's had some question marks with his injury history. You kind of were hoping you could bring in a second guy to play behind him. So
Yeah, I think. And did you guys see that there were 6 teams that asked the NFL to move the trade deadline to later in the season?
it was either
Really?
after week 10 or 12.
Yeah.
I think it should be a little later.
Yeah, you don't know where you're standing. You got a couple teams now that would have, if it's later in the season, their maybe records a little bit better. They're making some moves.
Especially now because there's only 3 or 4 really, really good teams in the NFL.
I don't even know that
then it's
there's
just
that
the
many,
rest.
to be honest with you.
What do you mean?
The Bills,
Bills,
just
the
lost
Chiefs,
to the Jets. The Bills just lost to the Jets.
The Jets are the Jets are
The
pretty
Jets
decent.
suck. The
Nah,
Jets
they're-
suck.
Do you?
No, the Jets
can I ask you a
suck.
question?
Go
Do
ahead.
you watch football?
Yes, yeah, and the Jets suck.
They don't suck.
The Bills just lost to the Jets. Don't tell me there's some top
Dude,
3 team.
I'm not saying
No,
they're a
they're
top
not a
5
top
team.
3.
They're not
Like,
even
I get-
close to a top 3.
Well, who else is there?
The Jets. I mean, not the Jets. the
Jesus
Chiefs,
Christ.
the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Eagles. It's 3
Okay,
teams.
then that's the
Well,
top
we're-
3 team. Then you just called the Bills a top 3 team.
Well, you're missing Minnesota.
Right.
They're 6-1.
Oh, I think you meant the Jets.
Minnesota.
I thought you meant the Jets.
No, the Jets are a top 2 team. The Bills, I said, I can't call them a top 2
Why
team.
are the Bills not? Why?
You just lost to the Jets.
The Jets are a good
it's
team.
The
division game
Jets
too,
suck.
Mike.
No,
Division
the Jets
game.
suck.
You know what? I'm gonna stop having this conversation because
The Jets are terrible.
you don't
They're
watch
still the
football,
Jets.
then you don't
I
watch
do.
football.
The Jets still suck.
Then. They don't suck.
No, they're pretty decent this year. They got this
What happens
running
when the
game
Eagles lose to the
going.
Giants this year? What would you say?
The Giants have shown me more. The Giants are better than the Jets, and the Giants have shown me a decent amount this year. I don't think they're great, but I think they're a fight.
That Jets
How much have you watched of the Jets then?
The Jets still suck. That's all I'm
So
saying.
none. So none. That was the answer.
Correct.
None.
I don't have to.
So then
They
how could you
suck.
say? Then how could you say?
the Jets
Dude, they've been
defense
running
is
the
really
ball
good.
great. They have
Yep.
2 really good young receivers that one of them has lost his mind. But like,
Yeah, Garrett Wilson.
yeah, like their defense has been really good. Their quarterback has played really well.
That's
It's
all
any
well-
given
okay,
Sunday.
That's all
Let me
well
ask
and
you
good.
this.
That's
Let me
all
ask
well
you
and
this.
good. The Buffalo Bills lost to the Jets. They cannot be taken seriously.
They lost to somebody else. They lost to Miami too.
Miami was
but,
decent though, but not decent. They were really good early in the year.
They're still Miami. Put 30
Yeah, true,
points.
yeah.
Do you really want to see every single team win every single, like all the great teams win every single game? That would be boring.
Yes, because
Okay, all
I mean,
I'm not
if
gonna
you
have
say
this
you're a
conversation.
contender, you beat shittier opponents. Like I don't.
They're not
I think-
that shittier though. They're a decent team this year.
They're the Jets.
So what? The Bills. The Bills sucked 5 years ago. They're the Bills. What do you mean? The
What
bad
do you
teams
mean?
get
What do I
good.
mean? They're the
Bad teams get good. From that same logic that the Bills just from 5 years ago. The Bills sucked 5 years ago. So what? Well, you should just sit here and say, well, they're the Bills. They stink. No, they got better. Just like the Jets are getting better. If you don't watch the Jets, don't sit here and say that the Jets stink.
They're not going to throw Gardner's way ever again. I don't think after this past game.
You do this with the Sixers too. You sit here and say how much the Sixers suck, but you don't watch the Sixers.
First of all, I never said the Sixers suck. I said they're not going to ever win anything. That's different.
I'm kind of paraphrasing. And in the past, I'm just saying.
Sixers are good. They're just never going to win anything. That's a different argument.
I'm just saying if you're going to sit here and say that teams are you're going to have opinions about teams that you don't watch, then how are you going to have opinions if you don't watch?
I watch Red Zone. That's all I need to know about how good the Jets are.
Okay.
The Jets suck.
Great.
Well,
Yep,
they're not
they
on
suck.
red zone because their defense is shutting teams down.
Just like DJ Moore. Yep.
Well, DJ Moore does suck, though.
DJ Moore basically lost me in my fantasy game this week because he was invisible because he sucks. Go
Yep,
ahead.
He sucks.
Well, he doesn't suck.
He's horrible.
I'm hyperbole. He doesn't. I know he doesn't suck, but he had a rough game. I know that. Oh God, you guys want to do against the spread?
No. The Jets stink. They're 6-3. They suck. They're awful. They're
So
terrible.
what?
They're terrible. They got one less win than the fucking Bills. They stink. You're right.
Who have they beat?
The Bills.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Who else have they beat?
The Dolphins they beat.
Okay. Was that
They
with
beat-
Tua? Was that without Tua?
That was week. I don't know. Hold on.
They beat
Yeah,
the
it was without
Patriots,
Tua.
right?
Without Tua. Okay, so they beat Miami without Tua. That's okay. That's easy. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's real easy.
Who's-
Tyreek Hill is
who's-
the best receiver in the league right now,
It
and their
doesn't matter if you
defense
can't
is
throw
really
the ball.
good.
It doesn't matter if you
They
can't
put
throw the
up
ball.
40 against a good defense.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, what other wins do they have?
Hold on, I'm looking.
Don't even matter. We can move on. It's fine. I don't care
No,
about the Jets.
no,
I don't
no,
care.
no.
We
We're
spent an hour.
getting into
We
this.
spent an hour and 10 minutes talking about the Phillies. I don't have enough I don't have enough time to talk about the New York Jets because they suck. Move on.
It doesn't matter who they beat. You
Sure
can't play
it
who's
does.
on your schedule. No, you can't. Okay, who have the Eagles beat besides the Vikings? Who?
Nobody, because okay, you know what? You're
Okay,
getting
you're
hold on. You're getting into a bigger issue. The entire NFL sucks. There's no good teams.
That's what I just said. There's 3 good teams.
Exactly, and you can't call the Bills
Exactly.
good when they lose to the Jets. I'm glad we got there. Thanks, Don.
Okay, so when the Chiefs that won the Super Bowl lost four games, they fucking stink. You're right. Yep,
Depends who they beat.
Yep.
Or who they lost to.
you're
Sorry.
right. They suck. Yep, Josh Allen stinks. The
Well,
Bills stink. You're right.
if you-
Go ahead.
if you-
Let's
Josh
move
Allen
on.
had a rough game too.
Well,
Like, he was
yeah,
throwing
Horrible
dumb
game,
interceptions.
because the Jets are good on defense.
If you ask Josh Allen said he stinks too. He said that he himself he stinks.
Exactly. Well, see, Josh Allen is truthful. At least he's
Because
honest.
Josh Allen's allowed to do that because he watches the game, unlike somebody here.
Oh, you guys want to
Sick
do
of
against
your
the spread.
shenanigans.
What do you mean shenanigans? Speaking of shenanigans, none of us have won a single against a spread pick from last week. Me and Chris might win one tonight if things go
What's
our
going
way.
on with that game?
14.
The Ravens are up 17-6
17-6.
late in the third quarter. We both picked Ravens -3, so we could end up 1-4. But Dom, you went 0 for 5.
Yes.
But
Gopher.
the 0 for. So that brings
Wait.
our totals.
What do you guys have for tonight?
The Ravens -3.
Okay.
So if that happens, I will be 15-30, which is fucking abysmal. Dom, you are 24-21, and Chris, if the score holds up, you will be 20-23,
Okay, almost 500.
almost 500.
I
exactly.
really could have pulled away this week.
But you went 0
If you
for
won
5.
one,
Yeah.
You went 0 for 5. All
Yeah, it
right.
happens. Any
who-
given Sunday, just like the Bills.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I actually looked to see who you picked last week, and I would have pissed myself if you picked the Bills. That would have been poetic justice.
No, because I know the Jets are a decent team.
The Jets suck. Relax.
It's a division game.
The Jets
that's
are
go
the
ahead.
other part. That's
Let's
the other part.
Go ahead.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, Chris, you go first because I'm tired of dumb shit.
I got the Giants -6.5 versus Houston.
You know what? I've been wanting to pick the Giants. I just can't. But I
Yeah,
looked at them.
Well-
and I can't continue to do it because I've done it already too many times this year.
and now the next one, I got Dallas -5 versus Green Bay.
Yep.
And then
What do we got, Commanders?
no, I got Minnesota +6.5 versus Buffalo.
Vikings +6.5. You said.
Yep.
But they smart because Buffalo sucks.
I got over 42.5 in Green Bay and Dallas.
I was over 42.5.
Yep. And then over 43.5 Eagles in Washington. A lot of NFC East here.
Yep.
That is a lot of NFC East. Dom, I'll cut you off and I'll go because 2 of my picks were the same as Chris's picks again. I also have the Giants -6.5 against the Texans, and I also have the Cowboys -5 against the Packers. So there's
I'm
that. And then
disappointed in you both.
I mean, listen, you call them as you see them. You know what I mean?
No, I
have
did look at that Giants. I did really look at that Giants. Literally, the only reason I didn't do it was because I picked them too many times this year.
I also have the Falcons -3 to the Panthers. And then I have the Vikings, Bills over 45.5, Chargers, Niners under 46.5.
Yeah. I got a lot of similar ones. I got Browns, Dolphins -4.
All right.
I got Broncos, Titans -3 because the Broncos suck. I've also got the Falcons and Panthers, Falcons -3. And then I got 2 of my 2 over-unders are both of what you guys have, one of each. Vikings, Bills over 45.5. And Cowboys, Packers over 42.5.
All right. Easy enough.
Hey, the Sixers beat the Suns.
Yeah, I know.
Look at that.
Play
Look
the
at
song.
that. Should we play? Do I have the song potted up here? I don't even know if I have the song anymore. If you really want me to play it, hold on.
I don't know. You control the board. There you go.
All right.
So what are they now? 4-6 or some shit? What is their record? I don't even know.
That's a good question. I have hardly watched at all this year. I watched a little bit tonight before the show.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
I got you.
I couldn't tell. They're
Yeah,
4-6.
4-6.
Look at me. That was a guess.
They beat the top team in the West.
Yeah.
Did they?
Sure did.
I mean, I don't know how much we want to dive into
No,
these Sixers.
it's November.
Correct. But Joel Embiid dropped 33. Tobias dropped 21. Niang dropped 21. Maxey 11. Okay. George Niang game, 21 points.
Well, that's what he is, man. He November through April, he's a 15, 13 point guy who hits some threes, and then when the playoffs start, he's invisible. Much like the rest of the team.
Enough of this song. I'm not listening to that song in November. It's too early for that.
When's Glenn out? Do we have a date yet?
Well, did I say last week or 2 weeks ago? I said December 1st.
Yeah, you did.
They put a couple wins together since then. I don't know that he's going to get fired. I don't
know. You were confident.
I was confident, but
what do you think, Tom?
I already told you guys they're gonna win like 10 straight, and it's just gonna. That whole idea is gonna fizzle out.
Because that's the thing. Like they have enough talent to rattle off 7, 8, 9 in a row.
They've done it for years. Happens every year.
Sure.
Like Brett Brown stayed around for so long.
Well, I mean, different scenarios. Like Brett Brown knew he was there to lose.
No. I mean, in the 3 or 4 years he was here when they made the playoffs, like
Right. Yeah.
you know, they rattle off 10 or 12 straight, and they lose one game, and then they rattle off 7 straight, and then they lose one game, and you know.
Yep. All right, Dom. Did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
All right, there you are. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we get out of here?
We got to come up with a top 5 for next
Oh,
week.
I had one. I don't know how you guys thought about it, but I was drinking a beverage earlier, and I was like, top 5 like soft drinks, like sodas. Top 5 sodas
Okay.
I think would be an interesting one. I don't know if you guys had a better idea.
No, I'll do top 5 sodas.
I can do that.
All right. 'Cause I was drinking one earlier, and I was like, this. If I had to make a list, this would be number 1.
So
Now we gotta wait a week to
is
figure
it
out what it is.
Yep.
is it just sodas, or like do energy drinks count?
I would say they
Is
don't
it anything
count.
carbonated?
I
They
would
do or don't.
I would say no, unless you guys can want to fight me on that. I could be persuaded.
Well, what's the definition of like a soft drink?
It's a good question. I can look it up. Soft drink definition. Here we go. Soft drink. A non-alcoholic drink, especially one that is carbonated.
Okay.
So there you go. It's very vague.
So is it? Are we?
So are we doing a soft drink one or like a soda one? Like it's.
Well, I think they're basically the same thing. I was trying to see if a Powerade or a Gatorade was a soft drink. I guess it's not because it's not carbonated. Which I have an issue with the whole idea of a soft drink, because when it goes down, it's not soft. That's what she said. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because
that's a good point.
I love me some Red Bull, especially the apricot strawberry apricot one.
Is that
Okay.
not carbonated?
It is. That's what
It
I'm
is,
saying.
but does that count as like a soda?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It depends if we're doing soft drink or soda.
I just looked up. They're,
You just
they're
tell
basically
me.
the soft drink and soda are basically the exact same definition.
Right. I don't think it's an issue if soda and soft drink are the same thing. I think it's more of an issue if Red Bull and a soft drink.
Does an energy drink count as a soft? I don't know. We might have to discuss off the pod, and just do the list that way.
You know what? You guys, tell me, and I'll follow whatever rules.
All right,
you decide.
sounds good. But I already have my list ready to go. I know what it is.
Oh, you're good to go now.
Easy enough. Yeah. Oh, it's easy. I could rattle them off. I'm not gonna do it. I'll save it till next week. Well, Dom, you won't even be on next week
No, I won't.
because the Eagles game play on Monday night, so we will do the show on Tuesday. So you'll have to send me your list,
Yes.
or you call live from the bowling alley and give us your list that way.
Well, let's play it by ear.
We'll play.
Last time was a little hard.
That's true. You ended up derailing my show and ended up talking about Flyers for a half hour.
Yeah.
So.
Middle of talking. Was it Eagles? And then
I think it was Eagles, right?
this is the day Sean Couturier. Yeah, they announced Sean Couturier. Was hurt or whatever.
Yeah, we were talking about a good Eagles game,
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts looked like an MVP candidate, all this. The next thing I know, I'm talking about Sean Couturier for 20 minutes. So
Yeah, you guys let me know. I'll send a list.
all right. You also your homework again because you won't be back next week. You'll be back the following week. So you got 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
One, get a wire. Get a wire.
We'll be
And-
back.
And two, give Xfinity a call and tell them to work your internet out because you're a mess right now.
I pay way. It's not me. I pay way too much money for this shit, man.
That's what I'm saying. You got to give them a call and tell them to figure that out, and then you got 2 weeks to do that.
I think we
But
lost
why
him.
haven't everything figured out? No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can. You're a little like delayed,
Yeah.
and you're.
No. I stopped talking. I'm not delayed.
Okay.
I just didn't say anything. I'm collecting my thoughts.
Okay,
Um,
fair enough.
Yeah. So Xfinity. No go.
No go. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. You guys.
Oh,
got
what was
nothing
it
else,
say?
right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna have the wire. I'm definitely not gonna have the Xfinity figured out. So
Okay.
be prepared.
Sounds good. It's good enough. We're gonna get out of here. We'll be back next Tuesday. Like us everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe on those platforms: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Hopefully, we don't get kicked off of Twitter. I don't know what's going on with the new Twitter bullshit. Elon Musk is trying to kick people off Twitter. I don't know what's going on. Twitter's a whole new
I
different.
think it's
game
just
for them right
verified
now.
people.
Is that all it is? Because I hear
It-
people bitching about the $8, and I thought it was only for verified people.
Yeah,
But
that's what I
who's
thought
to
too.
say? I have no clue.
My wife teaches 7th grade. She's with the Times. She told me that that it's only for verified people. So
Okay. All right.
that's what the kids are saying.
That's what the kids are saying. I will trust your wife then. She knows better than all three of us, I'm sure.
Probably. So
So we're going to get out of here. We will see everybody next week.